All right, let's talk about Travis Kelce heading into the Super Bowl. It was all talked about going into this, conference championship. Oh, Kelce, is he still Travis Kelce? Well, yes, he is still just as good as ever. And for the 49ers, they've given up some yards to tight ends this season. They've given up the 7th most total yards to tight ends this season, and actually the most yards per reception to tight ends this season. So yeah, definitely something where they'll give up some receiving yards there. And even in the conference championship, Sam Laporta, he was a guy who was able to get some yards, let's talk about why. Why does this happen? So, something like this, what's going to happen is it's a zone coverage play, and you see Laporta's route. He's going to start off just blocking and then run a route underneath. This is what the Chiefs like to do a lot of, right? Let's have our tight ends kind of, usually let's have Travis Kelce kind of hide a little bit and try to, maybe don't get a ton of attention on him. And watch how on this play, you see Laporta starts off blocking, eventually swings Chase Young around, and right here, he is open, right? I mean, no one's picked him up. You're going to see that Goff hits Laporta. Laporta is in open space now, picks up a first down. Listen, this isn't to say that the 49ers are, bad at defending tight ends. It's that their scheme is one that very much allows for yards to be had for the tight end position. There's a lot of space over the middle, and if you have a good zone-busting tight end, they can get a lot of yards, and Kelce might be the best to ever do it at that kind of stuff. Something like this is another one where this is going to be a second down and 15. So, okay, pretty, long shot here. You're feeling pretty good about yourself if you're San Francisco right now. But for Laporta, going to kind of run about 6-7 yards down the field and then just stop. And with, it's actually a blitz for the 49ers, but they have, the Lions have players moving further down the field to try and clear out the area. Watch as when Goff takes the snap, Laporta does a good job of kind of not starting to run right away, which allows him to get there at the perfect time. When Goff is now making this throw, you see how open he is. Again, Laporta makes the catch, does really good stuff in open space, actually picks up the first down there. Again, you have to imagine Travis Kelce, he's capable of doing that, right? He's very much capable of doing that. So there has to be, what we always say is, you have to treat Travis Kelce as a number one option. He's not just a tight end. He is someone that you have to treat as, much more than that. But going over here, I want to bring up the Arizona Cardinals game, which the 49ers won relatively handedly, but Trey McBride had a big game in that one. And for, if you're unfamiliar with the makeup of the 49ers offense, of the Cardinals offense, it's almost like a much worse version of the Chiefs offense, right? Where it's you have Kyler, who's really good, and then you have Trey McBride, who's kind of their number one option, and then a bunch of receivers they just hope they can get some stuff from, at least in this game especially, that had some injuries. So McBride was the kind of the main focus of this Cardinals offense. You see McBride's route, it's this over-the-middle route, which is going to, it's not that crazy. I mean, it's going to, go towards the offense's right, that's a bit more unique. Usually these things go over the middle. However, still, it seems like Warner at first had a pretty good beat on it, but eventually kind of got beat there. And again, that's a tough situation for a linebacker to cover that far down the field. And it's possible he thought he had help further down the field, but I kind of don't think so. I think McBride just won right here because you can scheme this stuff up. And again, it's Andy Reid. No one's better at scheming this stuff up than Andy Reid. I'm not saying Fred Warner is bad. Fred Warner is maybe the best linebacker in football. These are just, they ask a lot out of Fred Warner is really the thing, is they ask him to be Superman, and he can sometimes, but when you're going up against great tight ends, it's difficult. You see on this one that, Murray makes the catch, and now you have McBride in open space. Warner's able to make the tackle, but again, if that's Kelce, he's going to run those routes. They're going to get those plays. You have to be more careful if you're the 49ers. You just have to pay more attention than I think they were paying on some of these plays, right? That's how I view it. Well, okay, then let's go over here. So what do you do then? What is the game plan if you're San Francisco? How do you figure out a way around this? Because there's always something you can do. One thing you do is just make a conscious effort to pay more attention to Travis Kelce, which seems obvious, but when you're in zone, I think you just tell all your players, hey, regardless of where you are on the field, look and find where 87 is and pay extra attention to him. He's different. He is special, and you have to respect the great ones, and he is a great one, so you have to respect him. This play is interesting too, though, because again, what the Niners do is, yes, they kind of play zone coverage a lot, but they'll mix it up where they'll play this cover 2 zone, and then they'll play, or excuse me, usually it's quarters coverage, and then it'll be, cover 3, so it'll kind of bring a safety in, like what they're doing here. They have 2 safeties starting off, as though they could be deep, but also one could move over the middle. And so when Lawrence takes a snap and looks towards the route you saw on the screen, is there a bit of a window? Yeah, there's a bit of a window. It's, again, 2nd down and 15, similar to the Sam Laporta situation right here. And while, they're not throwing to Sam Laporta here, still, look at what San Francisco is doing. Watch as it's Hufanga, the safety who is now on IR, so that's not ideal. But you see him come in and make a play. And again, just scheme-wise, you can get guys into area. And listen, yes, Hufanga is very good. But if that's Jair Brown or Tashawn Gibson, I trust them to be able to make a tackle as well. Maybe not as quite as good as Hufanga, but I still, I definitely trust Gibson to make a tackle in that situation. Now, again, making a tackle on Kelce is more difficult, but still, mix up the cover 3, cover 4 pretty frequently to hopefully get Mahomes to make some throws that he shouldn't, right? And then also just pay more attention to him, see when the ball is thrown, quickly get in and make the tackle. Sometimes it's that simple, right? Because if they're going to have to throw underneath, that's not the worst thing in the world. It really isn't. The other thing you could do is stuff like this, which is, hey, there's no rule that says you have to play zone coverage. That's what they like to do, especially on 1st and 2nd down. But I do wonder if certain situations like this could happen where, for the Ravens, they're playing man-on-man. And they have, Kyle Hamilton on Travis Kelce one-on-one. I'm not sure exactly who would cover Kelce one-on-one for the 49ers. Maybe you have Fred Warner do it if you're doing this. Maybe you have Gibson do it. I don't know exactly who the guy would be. But, in this situation, it's Hamilton. And, okay, one-on-one matchup. Let's see what happens. I'm sure some of you remember. Watch as when Mahomes takes the snap, he is going to throw the ball over towards Kelce. And it's great coverage, right? But the thing about Mahomes and Kelce is they don't need a huge window. As you see, great job by Kelce and, great throw from Mahomes. They get the touchdown there. And that's just something you have to kind of accept that is going to happen to you if you're a 49ers fan. There are going to be moments where you just get, beat because there's a great throw and a great catch, whatever. Like, you'll take that. It is what it is. Although I would say that, making things difficult for Kelce is still a good thing, right? Making things difficult for Mahomes is still a good thing. So to recap everything that I've, kind of went over, the zone coverage stuff, they can lose Kelce, and they have lost great tight ends who are kind of the main part of the offense before this season. That's been a weakness of an otherwise really good 49ers defense. So that's something that should be concerning if you're a 49ers fan. There are things that you can do to change it, but I don't know if that's going to do a ton. I think really what you have to do is just pay more attention to him. I think it's kind of simple in that sense, actually. Like, I don't think you completely change your scheme. I think you still play your scheme, but maybe mix things up a little bit more than you usually do, and just make sure you're paying more attention to the tight end. The 49ers are very good. I'm sure they'll be able to figure some stuff out, but at the end of the day, it's Travis Kelce. I think he's going to get some yards in this game, and it'll come down to the other players. Can they get enough yards to get the Chiefs the victory? That's kind of how I view this. But yeah, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.